channel for a minute so I can invite everybody in. But once the movie starts, I'm gonna make this private again. And so I hope everybody's doing well. And let me see. Oh man, I love it. I love seeing all the cities that you guys are from. So let me channel for a minute. Oh, hold on. So I can invite everybody in. Hold on. Let me shut myself up. Who's that loud mouth over running his mouth? Let me see. Hold on. I'm echoing. There we go. Stop echoing, boys. Be quiet, boys. You talk too much. All right, there we go. All right, so let me turn this off. All right, it's off now. It's off. All right, now we're normal. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna read my screen here. I love seeing what cities you guys are from because I like the fact that so many of you come from all over the world. I think that's really, really cool. I see Hong Kong. Is that Hong Kong? Holy crap. Sharice is out of Hong Kong. Nice. I see Fort Lauderdale. Ryan, I see Yolanda from St. Louis. Rob from Beaufort, Georgia. Never heard of Beaufort, Georgia. I've heard Georgia, but not Beaufort, Georgia. Let's see, Montgomery, Alabama for Delvin. Sarasota, Florida for Kimberly. Rhonda out of New York City, and May Reese out of California. Okay, May Reese. That's your grandma's name, ain't it? May Reese. That's a country name if I ever heard one. I love it. Your grandma loved the hell out of you. John Jones, the third out of St. Louis. David Jones out of Columbus, Georgia. Jennifer out of Dallas. Roderick out of the DMV. Daria out of the Bronx. Yeah, the movie that I'm going to show you guys tonight is directed by Dorian Chandler, who is out of the Bronx. And Dorian and I have been friends for a real long time. And let me tell you, she was actually a student at Syracuse back when I was a student at Syracuse. Well, not sorry, a student when I was on the faculty there. And I met her. She was in the master's program in the Newhouse School. The Newhouse School is media. And a lot of great media people come out of the Syracuse Newhouse School, and she's one of them. She's an award-winning filmmaker, and she should be joining us a little bit later on tonight. I'm going to check on the status of that because I wanted her to get the respect she deserves as a smart Black woman that made a great movie. And so anyway, Dorian and I became friends way back then. And I remember saying to her, I said, one day I said, I'm doing this whole public scholar thing, and I don't know if anybody's ever going to care, anybody's ever going to look for me. But I said, when they do, I'm going to make sure people know how great your work is. And so that was probably, 2021? I think that was 2006 when I remember saying that to Dorian. I said, one day, I think I'm going to be famous one day, and I'm not going to forget my friends. And so Dorian is the homie from way back in the day, and she is so smart, and I can't wait for you all to meet her. And so anyway, I want to so reiterate my welcome here. This is Black Movie Night. Now, Black Movie Night is something that we do. You guys know we're not just about talk. We are about action. And action means that when you've heard me talk about why we need to build our own Black Hollywood, I don't believe in just talking about what we need to do. I believe in actually doing it. I believe in us actually getting together, taking our little 2 nickels and our little resources and just making it happen. I think that we have a lot of people in the community that could do things like this. They have far more money than any of us have, but they just, I guess we just think that white people are made out of, I don't know, fairy dust and secret sauce, and that they can do things that we can't do. Well, I don't believe that. I believe that we can do anything a white man can do, and I believe that we can do it better. I think that you got Black girl magic, you got Black boy, Black man magic, you got just Black power, Black excellence. I think Black excellence is far superior to white supremacy. I don't think white supremacy can stop Black excellence. And so this is Black excellence. We are doing it. I told you all a long time ago, in the Black Business School, we read books. I have the students read books like How the Jews Invented Hollywood. And I don't know if anybody's heard of that book, but it's a great book because it talks about the origins of Hollywood and how Hollywood became what it is. And it's not anti-Semitic. It's not like all those evil Jewish people. None of that. I'm not spending time hating anybody. It's really about learning the blueprint of a builder. When you talk about building, the thing about being a builder is it takes a lot of humility, but it also takes a lot of conviction. You have to have a commitment to your vision that is similar to the way a mother loves a little baby. Mother might have a little ugly baby that nobody love, but the mama loves that baby, and the mama values that child, and that's how the child has an opportunity to become something. And so as we bring in Dorian, I'll tell you more about that in a second. I think Dorian, let's see, it looks like her name is up there. I don't see the video yet, but she'll come in a second. But in general, when you're talking about the mindset of a builder, builders have a certain type of energy, a certain ability to be just crazy enough to see things that are not there. When the people talk about somebody being a visionary, Visionaries see visions, and those visions are not in the physical world yet. They're not in the 3D world. They live in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So they're operating at a level that really kind of makes you insane. To really see something that's not there, you're technically crazy. So I'm looking for all the other crazy people in the building. So if you are a fellow crazy person, raise your hand, say yes in the chat. Everybody type crazy in the chat. I need some crazy Black people who are crazy enough to believe that we can have our own Black Hollywood. I need crazy Black people who are crazy enough to believe that we can build our own school system. I need crazy Black people who are crazy enough to believe that we can build our own businesses. I want crazy Black people who are crazy enough to believe that you can go from 0 to 100 in terms of wealth within one generation, that you can go from the bottom 1% to the top 1%. You start from the bottom and then you're here. I want all the crazy Black people to type crazy in the chat, because that's what this is about. I want to be a bunch of crazy sons of bitches who believe we can do anything, because that's the beginning. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this when they talk about how the bumblebee is too fat to fly. But the bumblebee, nobody ever told the bumblebee he's too fat to fly, so he actually flies, right? So maybe somebody's telling you that you're too fat to fly, but I can tell you everybody in here can fly. You can fly as high as you want. There's nothing you can't do, and I want you to inject that energy into your kids so they will go out and try to do the impossible thing, and I guarantee you some of them will succeed. So let me stop talking here. It looks like our guest is here. Hey, Dorian, are you able to turn the let me unmute you. Let me see here. I hit the button. Can you hear me, D?
I can hear you. Hi, boys.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. How are you? Hello, everyone. Beautiful Black people. Good evening.
Yes. So this is Dorian Chandler. Dorian is my buddy from we've been. I was telling him about how we became friends. Like, what was it, in 2006?
Yeah.
Syracuse.
At Syracuse. Yeah. I was at the Newhouse School as a graduate. You were a professor, and we were part of the Black Graduate Student Association.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Dorian has been a great friend. She's you guys might have noticed how we talk about things like relationship building and how to maintain and create and maintain healthy relationships. Because I can tell you a lot of the reason things don't get built in the community is because people start fighting, they get triggered and they go crazy. And the thing about Dorian, that the reason that we've been friends for over 15 years is because Dorian is one of the best friends a person could have, in the sense that, whenever you've had an issue, like, because when you're friends for 15 years, there's going to be times where you're like, where there's misunderstandings or you're maybe a little bit pissed at each other, but you handle it really well. I've noticed with all your friends, you handle all of your, any issues that come up, you handle them in a way that is very supportive and loving and rebuilds companionship, as opposed to, some of the other ways people can handle stuff. And so I'd be curious to know about that. I know that you maybe didn't expect to be asked about that, but tell me about that, like, just in terms of like relating to others and maintaining healthy relationships with others. How important do you think that is in terms of just getting things done and all that stuff? What, like, in your life?
Well, I think it's really important. I mean, relationships are the key, I think, to life. And I think when, I was taught, I was raised by two amazing parents, and they really taught me the power of being positive and having really strong and positive relationships, to really focus on that and treating people the way you want to be treated. My dad was very keen on making sure that I always kept a level head, teaching me that emotional intelligence, right? Even in friendships, don't blow up. Even if the next person is blowing up, you stay calm, because that makes people crazy when they're going crazy and you're the calm one, So I think that helps to always stay level-headed, because it allows you to really see things a lot clearer, especially in relationships, right? Things happen in friendships and love relationships. Everything goes in different directions sometimes. But if you keep a level head, you're able to really, I think, stay on the positive side of things, on the better side of things. And, you can rectify a lot of issues by being level-headed and maintaining your relationships as best as you can.
And I think that's really important in terms of how we start the conversation about Black Wall Street, because when you talk about something as powerful as what happened in Black Wall Street and what the people did in Greenwood, and we're not here to just talk about the tragedy of it. We're here to really celebrate the genius of it all as well. An economy is pretty much just a set of relationships. It's a community where everybody relates in a certain way, and those relationships build and allow for the building and the creation of something special and something good. And so I think that point that you make about relationships is interesting in terms of how it relates to wealth. because I can tell you, you know Noma Langa, right? You met Noma Langa at one
Yeah.
of the events. Yeah, Noma Langa Mushali Moses, who's out of Botswana. Her father was a very wealthy man, very smart man. He actually, we've only the whole time we've been, running like our company and everything over maybe 13 years. He's the only person who ever loaned us any money. Like we were never able to get any loans from banks, or we never took money from corporations. We didn't want any money from the government. He made us one loan. It was like 10 grand or something. It wasn't a ton of money, but I really appreciated it at the time because we needed the money at the time. And this man, who's a very wealthy man, and it's generational wealth, something that we don't see a lot in the Black community in terms of wealth being passed from parent to grandparent to great grandparent, or you know what I mean, grandchild, you know what I mean.
Right.
And one of the things that he says about relationships is he said, I will not argue with my relative. He said, I will not. Noma Langa put this on her Facebook, and I want everybody to pay attention here because this is different. Like this, again, I'm looking for the crazy people who want to be different from what everybody else does. He said, I do not argue with my relatives because your family is your first line of defense. Your family, those are the people you're supposed to build with. Those are the people that protect you from your enemies. So you don't argue with, arguing with a relative is like shooting yourself in the leg. You can't go to war if you just shot yourself in the ankle. And so I think that principles like that, just saying, if you're mad, I'm going to be calm. I'm not going to go crazy. We're going to shut it down. I'm going to walk out the room until you chill out. Those little things make a big difference when you talk about building wealth. I want you all to answer this question. Give me a yes or no. Can you think of any time where you saw where 2 or 3 people were working together, doing something really great, accomplishing something amazing, getting money together, and then one time they got in a fight, next thing it fell apart? Like you look at TV, they have all these behind the music things where it's like they had this group that was selling 10 million albums a year, and then they started fighting and the group broke up, and you're like, dang, that was a good group. Or Kobe and Shaq were winning championships together, they start fighting, next thing you know, Kobe's going that way, Shaq's going that way, and they're not as good as they were together. There's 1,000 examples like that, and I want you to pay attention to that, because that when those breakups happen, whether you're talking about a breakup in a marriage or a breakup of a family or people fighting, wealth goes right out the door. Everything that you could have been doing great together suddenly dissipates, and it's like taking a big watermelon that everybody could share and eat, and taking it and slamming it on the ground, and you got food splattered everywhere. Did you have any thoughts on that before I ask you a little bit about the movie we're about to watch, Dorian?
Yeah, I think it's important. It goes back to that whole trying to stay positive. Especially amongst family, amongst friends, amongst communities. We have the tendency to. It's part of our passion. We're very passionate people, and part of that passion includes emotions. And sometimes, like you were saying, sometimes certain instances go real left, and then the whole thing that you've built has been destroyed. I mean, it happens within our communities on local levels. We see it all the time. And I think Black Wall Street is a great example of, how you focus on community and you keep things really insulated and tight and strong. And I'm sure they had, these are human beings. I'm sure they had their differences, but at the end of the day, the goal was to keep their community strong and thriving no matter what, because they had bigger forces that were against them, white supremacy, the KKK. So they had real, and not to say we don't have those big issues, but it was very, very different. They were dealing with real extreme situations and violence and racism. So for them to still stay focused, to stay very community focused and family focused, I think that's the treasure of the film and of this community. And I think that's why we really wanted to highlight it, because it really is, it's what we need to really, resurrect and bring back to life. Currently, it's 100 years later. And it's really looking to them to say, you know what, you guys were doing some amazing things in the midst of so much kind of negativity in your way. So if they can do it, we can definitely do it at home, amongst, business partners, amongst our friends. So we have the capabilities, and I think the film can help us learn how to do that.
Yeah. I can give it. I can just tell everybody, I've studied wealth at the highest levels and all that stuff, but I can tell you that the more I studied it, the more I started observing people that were really doing well. And I said, I get it. They know how to maintain relationships, and maybe it's a matter of also having humility to say, I'm sorry, or, hey, how do we figure this out? And or even in a marriage, like one thing Alicia and I always remember to do is, like, when we have a problem with each other, we know we're stronger together. So when we have a problem, we see it as us against the problem. You know, like she'll say, Boyce, I'm not your enemy. And I'll be like, I know. Okay, that's right. That's right. You're not. Right. And it's something you have to learn because, you know, you get triggered and you're like, wait, you did this to me, you know, and so I just want to encourage everybody to pick that up. And also let's talk specifically about the movie, which, by the way, if you're watching online anywhere, I'm going to shut down the public portion when the movie starts. If you want to join us inside this Zoom, it's totally free to the public. We're going to show our film, Resurrecting Black Wall Street, The Blueprint, directed by Dorian Chandler, who's here with us tonight. After the film is over, we're going to have a discussion about the movie, about Black Wall Street, and it's called Resurrecting Black Wall Street because we don't want it to just be this sort of sad boohoo, like, oh, this was terrible, look at what happened. It's like, okay, yeah, this did happen, but look at what they did before it kind of derailed, right? Look at how they did this, and why can't we do this now? So let me ask you this, Dorian, before we get started. So what would you want someone to know about your thinking as you went into the project, and what were you trying to communicate in terms of the theme of how you put the film together? Because you did a great job.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, the film is two parts, so we do focus and highlight on the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street. So we really focus on that community and how they became successful, who the players were, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, and how they built their community and their wealth in the midst of so much happening during, you know, the early 1920s. So the film starts with them and all their greatness and all the amazing things that they did during that time. And then, you know, we go into what destroyed that community. So, you know, it gets a little harder to watch as it goes on, but, you know, it's important to show the whole breadth of what happens. But then we wanted to bring it back and resurrect. So I think that's why it was important to have that title. You know, Boyce was the genius behind that, Resurrecting Black Wall Street, because we wanted to tie it into modern day society. So what are we doing now to resurrect what this amazing community did? What are some of the tools that we can use and follow and bringing that into kind of a contemporary mindset? So, you know, it's kind of full circle. So I think, you know, it's important to know that. So it's not just one piece.
All right. So by the way, everybody who is watching online anywhere, type this URL in the chat. It's blackmovienight.net, blackmovienight.net. That's where you can go to register to join us for the film. So all you got to do is just come in and sign up. It's totally free to the public. Everybody can watch it for free. And we wanted to show this film because, you know, everyone's talking about Black Wall Street now. It's kind of a conversation that's hit mainstream media. And as you know, for years, we've been saying that if you've been following us for any amount of time, you know about this, right? Because we've always talked about it. And Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it. He came in and really gave you the stuff that you're not going to get kind of in the PG-13 history books at school. He gave you the real deal, and not just the fact that Black Wall Street happened once. It happened hundreds of times all around the United States, so right. You can have a broader context. And so basically we said, you know what, let's show this film, make it free to the community, and that way we can all sort of really talk about the greatness that lies in our history and how we can resurrect that. So when you're done, I don't want anybody walking out here feeling sad. I want you to commemorate the ancestors that did this amazing thing. And I want you to honor them by saying, how do we do it again? How do we do it even better? You know, like that's what they would want. They don't want us just sitting around being sad about it. They want us to take it to the next level. Okay. So blackmovienight.net, that's the URL. I'm about to shut down the public portion of the Instagram will be shut off. The YouTube channel will be shut down, but you can come to blackmovienight.net and you can watch the movie with us. And so let me go ahead and share my screen. So Dorian, if you want to, if you can mute your video and audio if you want, and then we can bring you back in after the movie so you can talk about the film. And I will also mute in my own audio and video. So let me go ahead and turn off my video, and you guys can hear me, but you can't see me. But I'm still here. I promise it's me. And I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to play. And I need you guys to give me feedback in the chat to let me know that you can see and hear everything okay when I start the film. And give me 1 second here. Let me do a couple more things here. Let's see. Hold on, guys. I'm not